I didn't flinch when he said it, didn't blink, didn't even look at her, his ex, standing smugly at the edge of the hall, pretending she wasn't waiting for my reaction like a vulture waiting for a stumble. The room tightened around me. His parents stiffened, mine held their breath, and I simply said, "All right." They all thought "all right" meant acceptance. It didn't. It meant proceed. Because that was the moment I stopped being his fiancé and became his reckoning. I used to think love softens a person. Turns out, it sharpens you first. When I met Daniel 3 years ago, he was all gentle smiles and measured words, exactly the kind of man who seemed incapable of cruelty. He held doors open, remembered my coffee order, and treated my dreams like they were shared property. I mistook consistency for sincerity. That was my first mistake. The second was believing him when he said his ex, Leela, was just a chapter he'd closed. Funny how some chapters claw their way back when they're promised an audience. I noticed the shift months before the engagement. Late-night messages he hid with a casual swipe. A sudden nostalgia for old times. The way he said her name like a memory he was polishing. I didn't accuse him, didn't snoop, didn't scream the way some would. I simply paid attention. When he started coming home later, his shirt faintly perfumed with a scent I didn't wear, I memorized it. When he lied about where he'd been, I logged his inconsistencies like data points. And when I finally saw the message, "I miss us. She'll understand someday," I didn't confront him. I smiled, kissed him goodnight, and planned. People think revenge is rage sharpened into action. They're wrong. Mine was pure calculation. First, I spoke to my lawyer, quietly, discreetly. We reviewed the assets he'd been so eager to merge once we married. His accounts, his investments, the property he wanted to put under both our names. I delayed signing anything, said I needed more time. He thought it was wedding stress. Next, I contacted his boss, the one who despised workplace drama. I didn't even need a full accusation, just a seeded whisper about unprofessional conduct and personal entanglements affecting performance. She connected the dots herself. Then I reached out to Leela, not as a rival, as a confidant. I told her I knew everything, told her I wasn't angry, told her I understood why he returned to her. She relaxed, trusted me, and, beautifully, overshared. Screenshots, voice notes, videos, his little fantasies of leaving me after the wedding once he secured the financial tie he wanted. I never hated her. She was just an unwitting accomplice. But she would still fall with him. And that brings us back to the engagement ceremony. The hall full of flowers, the families gathered, the photographer snapping pictures of a future that never existed. He stood beside me, chest puffed, issuing his ultimatum as though he held all the power. Either you accept that my ex is part of my life, or we call off the engagement. Every eye landed on me, waiting for my humiliation. I said, "All right." Then I picked up the microphone. Calm, steady, almost gentle. I think everyone should hear what's part of your life really means. His face paled before I even unlocked my phone. I didn't scream, didn't cry. I just pressed play. First, the messages. Then the audio of him telling Leela he'd secure everything after the wedding. Then the part where he called my family useful leverage. Gasps rippled through the room. His mother stumbled into her chair. My father's jaw clenched so hard the veins in his temple pulsed. Daniel whispered my name like a warning. But warnings only work on people who fear consequences. "You wanted me to accept her," I said quietly. So I did, fully. Then I played Leela's confession, her giggling voice bragging about taking back what's mine. The room turned on them both. His boss, who'd been invited out of courtesy, stood up and said, "You'll receive a call Monday. Don't bother coming in." His father muttered something about disgrace. Leela ran out in tears. Daniel just sank. I handed him the ring. "No need to call off the engagement," I murmured. "It was over long before you asked." People ask if revenge feels good. They expect fire, vindication, triumph. But standing there, watching the collapse of the man who thought he'd caged me, I felt something better. Silence. Clean, cold silence. The kind that comes after a storm finally breaks. I walked out without looking back. Some stories end in heartbreak. Mine ended in clarity. And sometimes, clarity is the sharpest weapon of all.